slightly above average because these two put the story cleverly into the match. At 13 minutes, and for their first match, this was doing what it had to do. Trent goes for power moves. He's the better wrestler between the two in storyline. Cassidy makes the comeback and goes from his usual soft kicks to losing it completely and punching Trent's face in. This is exactly what you need in a storyline between two former best friends. It's what elevates this from a dull, exchangeable standard match. Then Trent gets the upper hand and could pin Cassidy, but doesn't because he wants to see him suffer. In his arrogance, he takes it too far, gets distracted, and loses by a clever move by the underdog. If that isn't exactly what this first match needed, I don't know what it is or what people expected. Unsure if Orange is winning with the exposed turnbuckle is something that Callis made him do. We'll find out in the coming weeks. Definitely a good match, story well executed, not the final war that will follow later, but they really didn't do anything wrong here. And I do not know for the life of me why this is the lowest rated match on this episode of Dynamite, not counting the Jericho squash match, which does not get a rating on Cage Match. But good storytelling. AEW has good storytelling. People have been browbeating me now for a month, ever since that I said that I like the storytelling in AEW, and I do. And this is a great example of good storytelling in AEW, is what's going on between Trent and the best friends. The brawl between Trent and Chuck Taylor. Guys, I know a lot of you only watch Dynamite or only watch highlight clips on the internet or don't watch AEW at all, but you really missed something with the parking lot brawl between Trent and Chuck, which might end up being Chuck Taylor's last match. They were saying on commentary he hurt his ankle, he's got to get a surgery. It sounds really bad. It's a damn shame that this parking lot brawl didn't open a Dynamite or end a Dynamite. It would have been a great kind of main event for an episode of Dynamite. But instead it got kind of buried on an episode of Rampage. So I want to make sure you know about it. If you can track this thing down and check it out, you really should. It was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely brutal. These guys winning each other. It was nuts. And that's what builds into this match. And people were expecting this match to maybe be as violent as that, which I think they're going to save that for Double or Nothing. We're going to see a rematch between Trent and Orange Cassidy, and maybe an Orange Cassidy heel turn. What do you think, guys? Are we going to get an Orange Cassidy heel turn? Let me know. A buddy of mine was actually on the Jericho cruise, and he told me that Orange Cassidy was working heel on the Jericho cruise. Now, that could have just been something fun that they were doing on the Jericho cruise, messing around. But historically, whenever they kind of try things out, like, you know, on the indies or on the Jericho cruise especially, it's something that they're considering doing on TV. So I think a Orange Cassidy heel turn might be a reality in AEW. What do you think? Black denim? As for the match between Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta, this was great, and I really don't understand how anyone can give this like a low rating with how damn hot the crowd was. They were buying into everything that was going on. They absolutely loved when Orange Cassidy and Trent were out in the crowd brawling, all the spots they did there when Orange Cassidy hopped over the barricade. It was a booked match. I mean, I will say there was a lot of stuff going on here. Don Callis coming down, turnbuckle pads coming off, the heel work from Trent Beretta. You know, there was a lot of moving parts to this match. It wasn't just a straightforward brawl, which seems to be a lot of the negative reviews were like, we want this like a bloody, you know, violent, just these guys wailing on each other kind of thing. And there was a lot more stuff going on than that. But that's the storytelling bit. Like, they had stuff that they wanted to do. There's a story that they're telling here, guys. So I don't know. A lot of people criticize AEW for not having any storytelling, but when they do, people get upset that they're not wrestling more. I don't know what to tell you guys. I thought this was a perfect mix of storytelling and wrestling. Did you guys notice how fucking hilarious Learning Tree Chris Jericho is? I am loving this gimmick. And I love how self-aware the Learning Tree gimmick is and how much he's leaning into it. I love how he called out that it was his match with Shibata was the highest ranked match on Cage Match. That hit me in a special part of my heart. Being the guy that covers the Cage Match ratings on Dynamite on a weekly basis. Chris Jericho watched the show? I don't know. And it's possible. It's absolutely possible. Has anyone also figured out as well that he's got the reference wrong? Like, is that part of it? Is it part of it that he's got the reference? It's the giving tree. The giving tree is what he's referencing. But he's calling himself their learning tree. Their learning tree is like a different thing. It's like a different kind of movie. It's a whole... The giving tree is what he's referencing. So that's kind of hilarious that he's so kind of out of it that he's even got like the wrong... He's the wrong damn tree. You're the wrong damn tree, Jericho. Oh my God. This thing is brilliant though. You know what? I think it is intentional. I'm going to give him full credit for this whole thing. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. It's brilliant. I've absolutely come around to it. I did not like it when he beat Hook for the championship at Dynasty, but I've been trusting the process. I put my feelings on hold, and I'm really enjoying where we're going with this one. This wasn't a bad match, but I haven't really been digging the House of Black feud lately. It might pay off really well when Adam Copeland eventually snaps and either joins the stable or completely destroys it. But I'm already starting to kind of check out of it. This match also went a bit too long, though not nearly as long as the Copeland's match against Buddy Matthews last week. And considering that they are playing it like Copeland's losing his mind, and I thought it should have gone a little more aggressive with the no DQ rules. I was surprised there were no big weapon spots. Crazy amounts of blood when Brody King got busted open though. This was the highest rated match of the night, and it earned it. Literally only a couple of minutes shorter than the Buddy Matthews match from last week. So I don't know what people are talking about there. Not a lot to be upset with here. This was violent. Brody King was bleeding all over the place. Adam Copeland, again, in that underdog role. We didn't get much in the way of storytelling here, and I often enjoy the storytelling moments in AEW, but we didn't see a lot of that in this match. No extra chapter. Nothing intriguing happens other than we get a run-in from Kyle O'Reilly, which is pretty awesome. I like to see Kyle O'Reilly. Really kind of made me think, like, why isn't he joining the House of Black? That'd be a really cool guy to join the House of Black. He's crazy violent, right? Spear through the fucking table off the apron. Amazing spot from Adam Copeland. Just phenomenal that he can still go that way. Big news item actually came out today while I was watching this. So the story is, apparently Adam Copeland wanted to bring Gangrel into the WWE, and when he did the Brood revamp in his match against Finn Balor, and they said, no one's gonna know who that guy is. And I think that's one of the main reasons why he fucking hightailed it out of there. It was for shit like that. Like, maybe they got a point, but yo, when Gangrel has shown up in AEW, he's gotten huge pops. I think it's happened a couple of times now. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. I honestly hope that's where we're heading in AEW. I hope that's why Adam Copeland is talking about that now, to kind of remind people about that. And hey, I'm fighting this big spooky faction. Here's my spooky friend. We're going to come kick your ass. I mean, that would be awesome, right? Who cares how they make it work storyline-wise? This was just violence. Copeland is great, of course, but Brody King is quickly establishing himself as the workhorse of the House of Black. Eventually, they're going to need to split him from the group and give him his own push. I got to agree, man. The crowd loves Brody King. He is really establishing himself in AEW as one of the top guys. He's a big guy. He's a fast guy. He's an interesting guy. And he's extremely charismatic. And I don't know what scene he could fall into. World title, Atlantic champion, continental champion. I don't know. There's a lot of different belts out there, a lot of different things you can do. Maybe have him go after the TNT belt. I mean, I guess he just did and failed, but I don't know, man. He's a really interesting guy. He was a favorite in that last tournament they did. In the last tournament they did, Brody King, he could have came out on top of that thing. Him and Daniel Garcia are really primed for something. Really interesting stuff there. I absolutely agree. I saw a few reviews though, like wondering why there weren't more weapons or why it wasn't more violent. I mean, did you guys miss that Brody King was bleeding all over the fucking ring? Like, this is some of the most blood we've seen in AEW, and we've seen a lot of blood in AEW. So I don't know where the fuck people think there should have been more weapons in this match, or it should have been more violent. I think it was plenty violent. I think it was great, especially for a TV match. This thing was approaching pay-per-view quality in its levels of violence. So I think that's right the fuck out of here. I think this match absolutely earned its top rating on Cage Match. My only real complaint about this episode of Dynamite is there really wasn't enough of the New Elite for me. We got a few little moments. We got some words from Kenny Omega. We're setting up anarchy in the arena between FTR, Eddie Kingston, Brian Danielson, I don't know, and the New Elite. So, I mean, that's cool. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing that, but I don't know. We could have used some more, little more New Elite. I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like the Young Bucks. I personally think the Young Bucks are great. That's why my next big project, I was talking about this on stream every Wednesday at 6 p.m., we do a AEW live stream, so come join us for that. Come check us out on Instagram. I got the little Instagram thing over there. And my next project I was talking about is I'm going to do a 10-part documentary. So it's going to be 10 separate videos, and then they're all going to assemble into one big video. And I'm going to talk about the Young Bucks and their friends and the New Elite and how this whole thing formed over the years, from what happened with the Young Bucks in TNA and the Young Bucks in Ring of Honor, the Motor City Machine Guns, who have been rumored to be coming into AEW. So I want to talk about them. I want to make sure people know who they are. Some other interesting things have happened along the way. I'm now teamed up with Comics Illustrated. Here it is. The April issue of Comics Illustrated has Frank Hartgrave there on the cover. That's me. So I am now the wrestling editor, wrestling journalist for Comics Illustrated. You can go on their website. I'll put a link down below. You can buy this issue. It's actually really nice. I'm right in the middle there. It's a really nice feature on Mr. Hartgrave in the Comics Illustrated magazine. So yeah, I'm a wrestling journalist now, full-fledged. Didn't expect that to happen. I just kind of called myself that on Instagram, and now I'm a published wrestling journalist. So I released my first article. It's in conjunction with that video I did on Pentagon Jr. If you haven't watched that video, check it out. There's also a great mini documentary on Nigel McGuinness, which is phenomenal. And I hear that even Nigel likes it. So go check that one out too. A lot of other great videos on the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you've got to this point and you haven't subscribed. I don't know what's going on. How'd you get this far without subscribing? Do that. And grave diggers, keep digging.
He is I and I am him, and I'm the undisputed Trent, and that's Haven. And this dork behind the camera, some Melvin told me to say, grave diggers keep on digging. Whatever that means.
I am AEW wrestler and Ring of Honor tag champ Mike Bennett. And remember, grave diggers keep digging, but not the monster truck. Even though my son really likes that monster truck, I kind of like Son of a Digger and Zombie. I'm going off on a tangent about monster truck because my son really loves monster truck, but we're talking about the YouTube channel. So make sure, grave diggers, keep on digging, baby.
So this Mark doing one happy private party, saying what up to the grave diggers, and you doing your thing, bro.
Alright, like, subscribe, and watch another video, or be cursed. If you're cursed, that means the grave diggers will keep digging your graves. So, you probably want to do it.